Yo, what's going on, GameLeap? It's Coach Hughes back again. Hope you're all having a great Christmas so far, and hopefully I can add to that by letting you know the 10 best mid laners for 1025B. Now, after promising to release this patch almost a week ago, we are still waiting on Riot to go live with 1025B, but guys, it will be here very, very soon indeed. Now, this means that when it does drop, I'm here to help guide you through the champions you want to start playing, and the champions you shouldn't even look at. Now, with each patch comes another change in the league landscape of what's OP and what isn't, so if you want to have an edge on the competition, then the next 10 minutes is a must watch. Now, I want to know, and feel free to share your thoughts in the comments down below, what champion or champions you've been having success on so far this pre-season. Now, it might be something pretty standard like Jhin or Echo, or something really out there like AD, Nico, or Karthus ADC, so let me know. Now, before we get into it, guys, I have to let you know that we have a massive $50 sale on at our awesome website, GameLeap.com. Thousands of summoners just like you have already signed up, so do yourself a favor and head on over there at the end of this video. Links, as always, in the description and comments section. Alright, GameLeapers, let's get into it. Now, when I say carry mid laners, I'm talking about those champions that can dominate the lane early on, and after just one kill, it's GG. Now, some mid laners who are actually extremely good at the moment are only good at a certain point later in a game. The mid laners on this list can one-shot their opponent at level 3 at the latest and have to worry less about their teammates, and who doesn't want that? Now, starting our countdown off, and you either love him or you hate him, it's Yasuo in at number 10. Now, this half-brother wasn't even on our list back in our 1024 edition, so why the change? Well, 1025 gave Yasuo a huge injection of power. So Riot increased your attack speed growth to 3.5% from 2.5%, and though this doesn't sound like much, listen to this. At level 18, you have almost 20% more attack speed because of this change alone, and it's important on Yasuo because this stat gets injected into your Q's cooldown. The more attack speed you have, the more often you can Q. Now, this one buff has seen Yasuo's win rate increase by over 2.5% to over 50% overall. Now, if we go back to that Ginsu's Rageblade change real quick, how many of you thought and maybe hoped it was the end for Yasuo? It certainly seemed that way, that's for sure. But the tables have turned and you are back to full force and are arguably the highest DPS mid laner in the game. Alright, so moving on to number 9, guys, and this may surprise some of you, we have Fizz. Now, back in our 1024 video again, Fizz was our number 1 carry mid laner, and to be honest, you could still argue for that, but his performance has certainly dropped a little, and here's why. So in 1025, Riot nerfs your mana growth, meaning each time you level up, you gain less mana. Now, why on earth does this matter on Fizz? Well, when you hit level 6, you have 100 less mana than before, which is actually very substantial because it means you have less opportunity to all in or at least trade with your opponent. And this also comes into play when you get ganked, so you have to expend mana to stay alive, and after the dust has settled, you are most likely sitting on half of your mana pool at best, and not much can be done, especially if you're missing health. But here's the thing, and the good news, all of your damage is still the same, which is why Fizz still has a 52% win rate overall, despite dropping by almost 2%. So if you want to have fun while one-shotting the enemy team, Fizz will still be a great choice in 1025B. Now, coming in at the 8th spot on our countdown is Katarina. Now, I think we can all admit that level 1 you might be the worst champion in League. It's quite the sell, isn't it? But hey, I think we can also agree that you become one of the best, if not the best, at taking 1 kill and making it 20. Now, I want to let you in on a secret because some of you out there are still building ability power on Cat. In 1023, Riot changed your abilities, right? So they now apply on hit effects, and your Death Lotus, your ultimate, scales off attack speed as well. So from now on, try this out, and no, I'm not trolling. Start with Blade of the Ruined King, then Kraken Slayer your Mythic into Ravenous Hydra. Now, it is just as insane because 3 of your abilities scale with AD, and you can proc 3 passives while you're ulting, which is just nuts. Now, if you really want to separate yourself from the rest of the pack, and let's focus on the mechanic side of things for just a second, you know what the best Cat players do that a lot don't? They auto-attack as part of their combos, and as AD Cat it's even more important. So if you didn't already know, your Shumpo resets your basic attack timer, meaning you can immediately auto-attack after E'ing. Now, this is extremely useful in the early game because auto-attacks matter more, and if you are running Electrocute or Conqueror, you get to the power in the rune a lot quicker. So build AD, play around your daggers still, and use your auto attacks, and there's no reason you cannot 1v9 in 1025B on Katarina. Now, how could we have a list with Yasuo on it without his half-brother Yone? And here's at number 7. Now, like Yasuo, Yone's attack speed growth increased a whole percent in 1025, and is this massive power changing in 1025B? No, it will all still be there, which is good news for you guys. Yone's win rate from 1025 has gone up 3%, which is one of the highest shifts in the game, with a 50% overall, and let's not forget this was around 45% a couple of patches ago. This goes to show how good of an impact this attack speed change has had. Now, like your bro, one of your most important stats, and no, it's not the 10 deaths, it's your attack speed, and this is because the more you have, the quicker your Mortal Steel casts, and the lower its cooldown. So again, having an extra 20% at level 18 is nuts. Now, the reason Yone is higher than Yasuo in our countdown is because Yone can do everything on his own. Now if you think about Yasuo for a second, he needs that Malphite on his team, or that Thresh, or that Zac to really pop off. Yone doesn't need anyone. The fact that your ultimate is essentially a point-and-click knockup in itself is broken as, and I'm sure we've all been on the receiving end of one of those this preseason. It feels good, right? Now yes, you may be a little weaker early game, but it's easily compensated for by your great level 6 and outplay potential. So he might be somewhat difficult to fully master, but he will be well worth playing at 1025B regardless. Now flying in at number 6 on our countdown, we have Anivia, and I don't think we can make a best mid laners video without featuring the Cryo Phoenix at the moment, because she is probably the strongest overall mid in league. Now how many of you have been half health by an Anivia QE at level 2? Now if you haven't, I envy you, and well, if you have, I definitely know how you feel. So in 1025B, Ryder understandably I guess reducing some of this power. So your ease damage is down 10 at all levels, and its mana cost is up 10 as well. Now is this reason to panic and run back to playing, I don't know, Yasuo and dying 10 times? No, otherwise she wouldn't be as high as she is on our list. So the reasons Anivia is an amazing carry mid laner is because your frostbite damage doubles if your Q just touches an enemy champion now. So before you had to full on stun them, and your ultimate's cooldown has been reduced at all ranks to the point where at level 16, and throw in some ability haste as well, you can have this up almost permanently. So your control in lane and in fights as a result is the best in the business, and this is why we have seen her go from barely picked to one of the most popular mids, and more importantly, one of the best mids. So start playing her before it's too late. Okay guys, the top 5, who is pumped? Let's go. Now starting it off, we have Pantheon, and you might be thinking, isn't Panth a top laner and a support? Guys, let me tell you something. Start playing Panth mid. Now in every elo, guess what role Panth has the best win rate as? A mid laner, that's right. Now he's still played mostly as a support, but the 1025 changes are ideal for laning and hard carrying from the get-go. Your Q now costs less mana, and if you use it instantly, it refunds 60% of its cooldown, meaning you can shove waves in faster and harass your opponents non-stop. In addition, your W's base damage is now higher in later levels, so jumping on enemy champions and stunning them and watching them cry is even more satisfying. Now the last massive buff you have to know about is the ultimate change. So your Grand Starfall has a new passive, and this is ridiculous by the way. You gain 10% armor penetration for each level in your ultimate, so you do more damage to squishies and can shred through the beefiness of enemy tanks. Now Panth's play rate as well has gone up over 6% since 1025, and his win rate is increased by over 3% too, which is crazy and tells us one thing. He is one of the best carry mids in the game. Now coming in at number 4 guys, we have Irelia. Now I know we've all ran into that one smurf Irelia who kills you without being touched, and the reason they are able to 1v9 games is because she is one of the best snowballing mids. In 1025, Irelia's base attack damage increased by 2, which isn't a massive amount, but remember this extra damage gets put into your abilities, so your incredibly strong early game is now out of this world. Your Q cooldown as well got reduced by a second at each rank, meaning that if you mistime your last hit or misplay in some way, you have a better chance of winning that duel. Now I understand that Irelia is hard to master for sure, but once you get to that point, you could well say to me she's the best carry mid laner in the game, and to be honest, I wouldn't disagree. So go out in 1025B and dumpster your opponent on Irelia. Here we go guys, the top 3. Now if you want to fight for a brighter tomorrow and more W's, Jace is a great pick. Now the reason he's so high on our countdown, you might not even see that much of Jace or play him at all, well listen up. The mirror mana change doesn't affect you. So Riot changed it in 1025 so that it procs on basic attacks and physical abilities. The only 2 damaging abilities that are not physical in your kit is your Lightning Field and Thundering Blow, but the thing is, even before using these 2 abilities, you would have already procced that damage with your Hammer Q, or even just an auto attack or Shock Blast. Now another reason you want to play Jace this patch is because he can build lethality, which still deals the most damage in the game, and let's throw in one more. You can crush the dreams of all those assassins that are more popular than COVID-19. If you think of Yasuo, Katarina, Zed, you can bully these melee champions as well as any other early on and snowball your lead to victory. Now speaking of Zed, here he is, our number 2 pick. Now Zed hasn't moved since our 1024 edition, and this is because his power has stayed the same. Now his win rate may be low, but that's because every e-boy is trying to be like stylish, let's be honest, and this doesn't mean that in the right hands you can't carry. Quite the opposite. Now if you master the shadows, you have a gooder chance as almost any mid laner to hard carry a game. Now one of the main reasons you're so good is that you have 2 mythic items that give you a massive boost. Dustblade and Eclipse. Now if you want to make the enemy bot lane quit the game, get a Dustblade. Oh, and it's also good if you're snowballing and against a squishy team in general. And if you need a little more survivability and utility, get Eclipse. Now let me know in the comments by the way if you would rather play against a Zed with a Dustblade or a Kha'Zix with a Dustblade. It's a hard choice and I'm keen to know what you guys think, so let me know. Now I will say this, when you are playing Zed, and I've coached a few Zeds who like to do this, stop trying to impress that chick on Eagle GG with a flashy combo that no one has ever seen before that ends in you dying and the enemy mid laner living on full HP. Guys, with Zed, less is more. Yes, you have a lot of avenues you can go down, but looking good while doing it comes naturally. Because Zed is sick enough as it is, you don't have to do a lot to catch that girl's attention. Okay, GameLeapers, before we reveal the #1 pick, and I'm going to throw some clues at you as well for this one, so get ready. Again, I cannot stress enough the fact we have a $50 sale on at our website, and all of the challenger content on there is for you. The courses, the guides, the videos, they are made by the best to help you be the best. So click on the link in the description or comment section. Alright, so let's play a bit of Who Am I? See if you can get it from this. Okay, so I got a little buff in 1025. My passive is a big part of my kit. Against squishy teams, I can build Dustblade or Prowler's Claw, and against tankier teams, I can build Gore Drinker. And hopefully you get it from this one. I can also hop over walls, and as a result, I'm very annoying and scary for enemy junglers and teams in general. Guys, if you guessed Talon, hey, congratulations, pat yourself on the back, you've won a special prize, and to find out what that is, make sure to like the video first of all, and subscribe and turn on all notifications. Guys, thanks so much for watching, let me know what you think of the list down below. This has been Coach Jace, and until next time, peace.